Hello everyone and welcome to our specialty class today. Now this morning I put up a little post and it said, do you want me to share how to do a reflection and a mirror image and sharing it two different ways? So I've chosen a couple of stamp sets that I'm going to maybe do it with today. The Fluffiest Friends and Crispest Friends. Hi Tanya. So I'm also going to be doing it on the watercolour paper because we're going to do a little bit of watercolouring as well. We're stepping it up, stepping it up for everyone. So how's everyone been today? It's one of those days, it's sort of a bit chilly and a bit cold, but I hope you're all warm wherever you are. So let's get down here and start, and I want to share with you what we're going to do. Okay, if you come on, don't forget to say hello, say where you're from. If this is the first time you're with me, my name is Teresa Brown. I'm a Stampin Up independent demonstrator, have been for 18 years. So I'm going to start with the Fluffiest Friends first, and I thought I might come in with just the little bunny and just give you a bit of an idea on how to do a bit of a reflection with this one, but this time using our brayer. Okay, so let's hope I can line it up where I'm meant to have it. So I like to work with my stamp on my glass mat to start off with, and I'm going to come through with my ink. I'm going to ink him up, and I'm going to grab my brayer. Now make sure when you grab your brayer that your little handles here are standing up, because if you go like that, nothing's going to happen. You're going to have these handles in the way. So make sure that your handles are up, because that's for you to stand your brayer. These are little stands to stand your brayer, so it's not actually sitting on the glass mat. Okay, so you can just stand it aside. Turn it up so the little handles are facing upwards. Line up your brayer and come straight up over your stamp. So now you have the image on the stamp. Can you see the image on the stamp there? I hope you can. Okay, so you've got the image on the stamp. Now when we're doing this, we want the body to be at the bottom. So we want the body to be at the bottom, and then the head. So we've got to allow a little bit of time for us to move up. So we're going to start on our paper. We're going to get our brayer and we're going to move it down. The thing that I love about using the brayer is that it is a real reflection. Okay, it's not a solid reflection. It's not solid. It is just a real great reflection that you need when you're doing like a water theme, which I'm going to do today. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually then put your little stamp onto a block. I might turn him this way because he's fatter one way than the other. I'm just going to press that down there for a minute. And pick up some more ink. Now, because this is red rubber, you do have a lip. Okay, you have a lip around here. So when you're actually lining this up, you're going to come in up just a fraction. Okay, so that your lip is pretty well like that. So now you've got your little bunny sitting there and you have the reflection. Awesome. It's a really good way of doing it. So before I start colouring and sharing all this one, let me show you a mirror image using another stamp set and our silicone mat. So that's two different ways of sharing this with you. So one, you can use the brayer. Just make sure that you do clean that image off your brayer. Just have a wipe or something there just to clean it off. Okay. You don't want to leave that on, and make sure you stand your brayer up with your handles. Okay, so make sure that you stand it out of the way and you've got your handles coming down this time. Okay, so let's go with a mirror image. So that's something looking at each other. So we're going to go this way this time. So I decided to go with, I mean, I could have used the bear in here because that's so cute, but I decided to go with the moose because he's quite cute too. He's got skates on and he's looking really good. So we're going to go with the moose. So when you're doing a reflection, you want to do this side first, the left side first. Or, yeah, no, the left side first. If I remember correctly, it's the left side first. Okay, so we're going to come down and we're going to stamp our image down. So down we go, just press. I'm pressing a little bit harder because it's water paper. And our water paper is beautiful. I'll share that with you in just a minute. Okay, so now let's do the reflection. Let's hope I've done it the right way. Sometimes I think right, left, right. Okay, so we're going to stamp straight down onto our silicone sheet. Lift it up. And you're going to, yeah, this is the right way. And then you're going to come in and put your silicone sheet down. You can sort of see through your silicone sheet. So you can move your silicone craft sheet around. Now the other thing you can use your brayer for is to come down and press on that and brayer that onto, especially when you're using the watercolour paper. And you've got one over on the reflection side. Now when you're doing a reflection, you can get it a lot darker than that. But I'm quite happy with that because I'm going to darken it up anyhow because I'm going to do watercolouring. So, but you can do it a lot darker, but you can sort of see it's a mirror image. They're looking at one another. Okay, so we have a reflection, which is down underneath, and a mirror image is when it's coming across. Okay, so let's have a look at the bunny now, and we're going to come in with our water painters. Now, who loves using the water painters? These are our water painters and they fill up with water. So when you get these, you need to unscrew, oh, they're back to front, these ones. They screwed the wrong way for me. You need to fill this up, the barrel, and then screw the lid back on. Now you will see it's got a little push button there. So you push and you'll see the water dripping out. Okay, so then you sort of work out what colour you're going to do first. Now, I've got a lot of these little blocks that I've bought. These aren't available anymore, but I love them. You can use any of the size blocks. Okay, you can use any of your blocks. But I just grabbed them out because they're what I use and they're just so handy. And if I'd known they were going to go off, I would have bought a few more, but that's okay. So I'm using Old Olive. You can use whatever colour you want. And I'm just going to put a couple of drops into my Old Olive because my paper is not wet yet. Okay, so I need my ink wet. I'm going to mix it around. And I'm just going to sort of do a little bit of, I'm not no artist by all means, but I'm just going to come in and add a little bit of greenery up through here. Come back in and do the other side. So we're going to do the other side. And you can do this however you want to do it. You can actually use stamps if you want to. You can wet the paper and yeah, there's a lot that you can do. I'm just going to come in here, do a little bit of watercolouring. Just bring this in, bring in a little bit darker. The thing I love about watercolouring is that you don't have to be perfect because you can just add the colour. You don't have to be perfect with that colour. You can just add it. So there's no right or wrong. And then you can come back and you can put darker bits in it and lighter bits in it. Just depends how much you want to put in it. So I'm just going to come down this bit here, darken it up a little bit, bring a little bit of green in there. So just, you know, play with it. It's not going to hurt. You're not going to hurt it. Like I said, you can come in light and dark areas wherever you want to. There's no right or wrong. And I like to just bring in a little bit. Okay, clean your block off. Or you can have one for each colour. That's fine too. So I've got some green there. So I'm just going to clean my brush. Okay, so now the water's coming through clean, so I know that my brush is clean. Just move those stamps out of the way for a minute. Now I'm going to come in with another stamp, and I grabbed the flower out of this one here, the Fluffiest Friends, this little set of 3 flowers here. I grabbed them. I thought, they might go nice on this page, so you can put a few of them on. So I also thought, okay, maybe I need to mask them, so I cut out a mask to put over the bunny, because sometimes we just might want to add some flowers, and you just never know. I think I've got them on a bit crooked. That's okay. And then you can even come off the page slightly and just have one. You don't have to have a lot. If you do that, just pick that ink up. Take your mask off. Ooh. Okay, so we're going to come in and colour them with colour now. So I'm going to go with the Berry Burst. So once again, colour onto my block. Grab a couple of drops. You can spray your paper, but because I'm using Memento ink and not Stays On, I'm not going to spray my paper because I don't want the black to blend out too much. Okay, so I'm going to come in and colour the flowers. And you can add a couple of layers if you need to. So just start off with a layer. And you can come out to the edge of the block and you can pick up a darker layer as well. So just get those flowers happening. I'm sort of thinking while I'm in here, I'm going to do this little cupcake in a nice little pink as well. Okay, and bring over here. And if you want to do his little nose, you can do his little nose as well. Okay, you can do a little bit in the ear if you want to do a little bit in the ear while you've got this colour out. So you can come in with a lighter pink, but I'm just going to use what I've got on the thing. So you can also come in and do, you know, the little dots on his feet. Just get the brush loaded. Over here. The soles just in here. And because I've lightened it right down, it looks like a real light pink. But we're going to drag some of that colour back in now for all the rest of the flowers, because we want them a bit darker. So you can use scenery back, like mask, and use the scenery stamp if you want to, but sometimes I just like to do my own background. It's entirely up to you. what you do, but I just thought I'd share this with you today. Okay, so you can sort of see that the pink goes over that green really, really well. So I'm just going to squeeze that through. Make sure that it comes out. You can see how much water, how much colour stays in that brush. So now it's starting to come through a little bit more cleaner. Make sure you get the colour out. I'm just going to grab another block and I'm going to come in with some garden green, so a little bit darker green. Just bring in a little bit on there. Probably don't need much of this one. It's very dark. Okay, very handy putting your fingernail into the, the ink. Okay, so we're going to pick up, drop a couple on here, let it spread out and just mix it like our little palette. Just make sure you can see what I'm doing. Mix it up like a little palette. If your brush gets too wet, just dab it to the side. If you feel like it's just too wet, just dab it to the side. We're just going to do the leaves now, so come in and do the leaves. And I'm using garden green this time. It's just a little bit darker green than the old olive, and it will stand out a little bit better than if I went in with old olive again. Okay, so just come in here. And you can use your markers on these little flowers too if you just want a couple of the little flowers somewhere. So now we're going to squeeze out a lot more water. And we're going to bring a little bit more of that colour in. And we're going to come in and we're going to start doing a little bit of highlighting with this colour through here. And then we'll also squeeze a little bit more water, bring that colour right in, rub it around the edges. And you can sort of come down onto this bit here and sort of give it a bit of a shadow effect in here. And the same with down here. And then you can get a bit of this darker one and just go in underneath him, under here. And go right to the edge where that bit is. And just dab that through into that area there. Now your back bit can be lighter or darker, it's entirely up to you whether you want to come in and just do a darker scene through the back there. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we've got a bit of ground happening there, we've got some flowers happening there now. You're sitting in a paddock of flowers. Now we're going to add some sky in the water. We're going to clean our brush again. See how much green's in that? There's so much green in here when we do the squeezing. And you see how much green's in there? So you'll be quite surprised how much stays in your brush when you're doing it. Okay, so make sure you clean that brush out because I want to bring in another colour. You've got a push button on the side, so make sure you just push it on there. It will help the drops pop out, and now it's sort of going through clean. I can clean my block. And this time I can come in with some blue, and I think I'll come in with, which blue have I got? I might come in with this Azure Afternoon. Azure. I'm not quite sure if that's how you pronounce that, but that's what we're going to go with. So a couple of drops straight onto my block to start off with. Give it a little bit of a, going to pick that colour up. Squeeze a little bit more in there. Okay. And here we go. We want that pretty wet, and you know it soaks up into that brush. So we're just doing lines. We're not doing anything spectacular. We're just doing lines. Some of it will stay a little bit white, but some of it won't. And you can just sort of come in with a bit of a darker area. And you can sort of see that you've got a little bit of cloud sitting around the back there. Now let's come into the water. Okay. So when you're doing the water, I'm going to turn it this way first. I'm just going to come right up underneath my grass here and just put a little layer on there first, because we can come back in over the top of that. And I'm just going to do a really, just rub that brush right over the top of my reflection here. Okay, so now we're going to come in and we're going to add the layers. Squeeze some more water on there. Sometimes when you're doing a lot of water, you've got to come in and do it 2 or 3 times. So we're getting a nice little card happening here for someone's birthday. We're going to put a little bit of blue icing on this. Then we're going to come in and put a cherry on top in a minute. It's got a cherry on it. Okay, I need to get this wet. And you can squeeze your water onto your card as well, if you want to. Okay, so you can do that as well and get that wet, because you've got that blue coming out. Now I'm just going to dry that block off because I want to come in with some more blue. Oh. Okay, let's come with some fresh blue. Come in with some more blue. This is probably the only one that you'll need to add 2 lots of colours to, except if you want to do the flowers again to make them a bit darker. Okay, add some water through there. Now when you're doing this, you've got to be a little bit mindful, a little bit careful when you're doing this darker colour. Like, you know, you've got to be a little bit mindful when you're doing this. Just bring in the colour where you want to bring it in, and make sure that it's all come out. Oh. And pick it up from there. Okay, so we can come through. I'm going to come through now with right on the edge of the dark, and I'm going to come down around this edge here and darken this up. And then come over the other side, go into the other side, and also bring in some dark. How much you colour it in is up to you too. Like if you want to colour the whole, if you don't want any edges on this, you can always put it through a dye as well, you know, like the postage dye or something like that. But just when you get up to the end, squeeze some water through, give it a really, pick up all the colour and just come down and apply it. It doesn't matter where you apply it, just come down and apply it. There's no right or wrong. You're just going to build up on your layers. Okay, so now we've got the blue done. And you can add a bit more dark blue to that eventually as well if you want to. Squeeze our blue out. Look how much is in there still. So you can just squeeze this onto here if you want to and just run it through. Now, so you can do that as well if you want to. Okay, so now we want the brown. What are we brown? Brown? Yeah, crumb cake. Let's do some crumb cake. Do the bunny. Do the bunny, bunny, bunny. We're going to run out of time to colour both of them. I'll leave the other one to colour for tomorrow. How's that? But I'm going to finish this one. Sorry guys, the time goes fast when you're doing watercolouring. Okay, so I'm going to come down and pick this up. Squeeze some water in there. It's still got a little titch of blue in it, but that's not going to hurt our bunny. Okay, you might want to pick up a little bit more brown too to do some darker brown. I'm just going to come in and do this light shade first. And also don't forget you've got to do your reflection. So you've got to come in here and add some brown through the reflection area as well. Okay, because that's important. It's still a little bit wet at the moment, but that's okay. So don't forget to add that little bit of reflection happening through there. And don't forget to add just a little bit of brown in other spots as well, because it just looks a little bit like the rabbit's just not plonked in the middle of the pond sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to hold this up and we'll come back and finish all this tomorrow. Hi Robbie, how are you? So that's our reflection of our bunny sitting there on a beautiful day out in the field. Oh, wouldn't you like to be sitting next to the water? Hi Debbie, how are you? Yeah, so we've got that much done. We'll finish this one off tomorrow and get onto this one. So I'm not going to just not keep sharing this with you, because this is a really good way of doing it. But I just wanted to share the two ways of doing that reflection, one with the brayer and one with the silicone craft sheet. So tell me in the comments what you think and whether you're going to love to do some water painting. Our water paper is amazing. I love our water paper. It is 100% pure cotton, which is fantastic for water painting. I get the one sheet and I cut it in half, and I'll get 2 cards like that size. And that's a perfect size to me to be working with the one sheet. So you can cut it into 4 if you're going to do smaller images. So I hope these little tips and hints and tricks help you and that you have some fun watercolouring. So tell me in the comments, are you going to go away and try some watercolouring today? God bless you all and thank you for joining me. Bye for now.